5-5. Worst record basically in the Mahomes era. The AFC West probably out of reach at this point. Or are Kansas City's hopes of winning the division over? That's what I think everyone's going to talk about. I think you're going to see a lot of stories through the media landscape that's going to be like, can Kansas City still win the division? Is Kansas City at risk for missing the playoffs? The truth is, it doesn't really matter because it's such a flawed football team. They're not going to do anything special even if they do make the playoffs. And look, I know you can't count Mahomes and Andy Reid out. That's kind of been my excuse all season. But at a certain point, as I've said with all of these teams, we're 11 weeks in. This isn't week 4. You are what you are. Like, we've seen enough to know who Kansas City is at this point. It hurts me to say it, but this is just the truth. I genuinely thought Kansas City would just roll once they got their weapons back. Well, I was like, oh, they didn't have their wide receivers. Once they get them back, they'll be in good shape. They've got receivers. They've got an offensive line. It doesn't matter because they have so many other issues to overcome, or they would have to overcome so many things to be a real championship contender, to be a playoff threat. What makes you think they're going to do that? Just say right now you can see the future. Say for sure Kansas City gets into the playoffs as a 7 seed, as a 6 seed, whatever. Okay. Do you think they're going to go to Denver and win in the playoffs this year? Or go to Buffalo? New England? Indianapolis? You think they're going to go and beat any of those teams on the road? I don't. If the Chiefs magically fix things and get better, okay, yeah, I don't have that foresight. But the way they look now, even if they get in the playoffs, so what? They're not going to beat great teams. It's just not their year. They can't even beat average teams. They've got so many issues. So I just want to take a minute. I want to break down their biggest issues just briefly, and then I want to talk about something maybe everyone is ignoring and not wanting to talk about. Firstly, just offensively, they cannot run the football. They can't. So because of that, that puts them behind the sticks all the time. They end up in 2nd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 15. Jawan Taylor lined up bad, false start, penalties, inability to run the football. You're behind the sticks. So then you have to throw it 40 times a game. And you need Mahomes to be Superman constantly. Before we continue with the video, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Tell your friends about it. We're trying to grow this channel. Subscribe so you feel better about your sports takes. Back to the video. On top of that, just honestly, Mahomes hasn't been great. I thought there was a 3-week stretch a couple weeks ago where he was looking really good. Like after he got his guys back, he was rolling. But now he's not. He missed a few deep balls today. He's just been a little off. And you hit those and the game could be different. He's got so much on his plate because the defense isn't what it used to be. Even though they played good today, when you don't have a run game, it just puts so much pressure on the quarterback. And even if Pacheco had been there, I just don't think it would make much of a difference. We kind of see what Pacheco is at this point. I know he had started to look better, but with another injury, I mean, I don't expect him to come in and do anything different. Some of this is offensive philosophy, which is what I'm going to get to. Defensively, they can't stop the run. Denver was 4 yards a clip every single time, just with ease. So then the opposing team is staying on schedule, getting into 2nd and short, 3rd and short, and the playbook's open for them. Then when your defense, Kansas City, does make some plays and gets Denver into 3rd and 15, where your pass rush is non-existent, and the opposing offense takes advantage of it. So you can't stop the run and you can't rush the passer. That's an issue. And that even though the defense did good today, they gave their offense chances, that's preventing them from being a championship team. It's the two things we've been talking about all year. The offensive run game and the defensive line. And that's going to bite them because the receivers, the offensive line, they're good. And it doesn't matter because they can't overcome an inability to get pressure, especially on big plays. Like the Chiefs have always been the situational team. They might play with their food, but in a big moment, they always deliver. And in this game and this season, it's been the opposite. They're losing in the big moments. And that's kind of been their superpower. So when you take that away, what do they have? They went 3 and out on their final 2 drives. That leads me to overall the bigger problem in Kansas City. It really is the offense because it's become stagnant and the play calling is mediocre. I've talked about Green Bay on this channel and why how I think their offensive play calling is lackluster. So it's only fair to do so with the Chiefs. I just thought eventually they would figure it out or change something, and they won't. They have the O-line, they have the receivers. Their absolute refusal to run the ball under center blows my mind, because there was a couple weeks ago where they started coming out in heavy packages and going under center and running under center and doing play action off of that. And it was really successful. And then you just get away from it. And I love him to death, but that's the Andy Reid thing. He just doesn't want to do it. It's pass or it's RPO or it's inside zone. And that's basically all they run. How many times do they run inside or outside zone? I don't understand it. I don't know why they don't, with a good offensive line, line up under center and hand the ball off, try to establish a run game that way, build some passes off of that. It just opens up the playbook so much more. You would give Mahomes such a bigger arsenal of weapons he could use against defenses. And they absolutely refuse to do that, even though so many people have talked about it, even though we've seen when they do it, they're successful and it looks good. It is common in life, not just in football, but in life, in anything, your job, whatever. When things are going well, it's really easy to stop self-evaluating. It's very easy to kind of become stagnant and just not worry and think everything's all right and you got it made, to get comfortable. It's very easy to get comfortable when everything's gone your way, you've had total control. And I think that's what's happened to Kansas City. I think they've just gotten comfortable with the winning, not intentionally, but they've kind of got the same coaching staff over and over, and it's clear that these other teams are starting to figure them out. I think it's really important that they bring in some fresh voices. They need to change and improve the offensive play calling. I'm not saying fire Andy Reid. I'm not saying he's a disaster. I am suggesting maybe we shake up some of the staff and get some, outside opinions in, because it's possible Kansas City's just been too insulated, and because it's worked for them. Why change anything if it's worked? Even last year, they make the Super Bowl with a subpar roster. So I think they felt good going into this year, even though we all knew the roster deficiencies were there. And we were like, oh, well, they'll find a way. And they haven't. They've become one-dimensional. They've become predictable. But on both sides of the ball. After the game, Chris Jones was saying on the third down that Denver was calling out the defensive play. They knew it was coming. I love Spags, but that's unacceptable. Like, you have to do a better job disguising. You have to mix it up more. So if we're being honest about the Chiefs, it's just not their year. It's okay. It happens. They are, at this point, a mediocre to below average team. It's crazy to say that because 3 or 4 weeks ago, they looked like one of the best offenses in the league. But what are you going to believe? The stats or your lying eyes? They've got a quarterback and a head coach that tend to elevate them higher than they deserve. But when those two guys are not at their peak, because I don't think Patrick's been excellent, and I certainly don't think Andy Reid's been excellent, this is kind of what you get. So a lot of people, a lot of Chiefs fans are waiting for the other shoe to drop. Even myself, I was a little guilty of it. The other shoe's not going to drop. You are what you are. The only thing you can do, I'm not saying you can't make the playoffs and maybe even win a playoff game. Okay, whatever. I just don't think you're a Super Bowl contender this year. Clearly, I'd be shocked if they won the Super Bowl. I'll play this back if it happens. I'd love to be wrong. You need to evaluate and make some changes because you just don't want to waste any years that Patrick has. So you need to improve the roster for one, because you got a lot of old players that you're paying a lot of money, and you need to get some fresh voices in on the coaching staff because the play calling, particularly offensively, is really just unacceptable for a team with this much talent on it.